Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to DMac SMaK, a look at all of Denver sports that matter. We had a, a repeat performance and a fair warning to David Adelman that he did not heed. A complete Game 5 breakdown in just a little bit. We also had a repeat action of the Rockies that was, disappointing, that's for sure. We have all sorts of stuff to talk about with the Broncos schedule release, but of course we lead with the Denver Nuggets, and thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We're brought to you by Journey Spice. Journey Spice is the absolute best. I love Journey Spice. I keep it next to me. No salt, no sugar, non-GMO. Incredibly healthy, incredibly delicious. And you just squeeze the top, you just pinch it, top comes right off. You put it on. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything tastes better with Journey Spice. And you can save yourself 10% using the code 10Nuggets at Amazon.com. More about my great friends at Journey Spice in just a second. The biggest question for the Nuggets in their fourth quarter collapse, again, was the fatigue of the team, David Adelman.
Second straight game where shooting was an issue in the fourth with a lead. Is that fatigue? How do you explain it?
I mean, you can say it's fatigue. I think shot quality, too. I thought early in the quarter we did get really good shots. They didn't fall. And then late, their pressure got to us, and we were up against the clock a lot. So if it is fatigue, that's on me. I'm deciding who's going to run it and who's going to be out there. If guys were tired or had tired legs, that's the decisions I'm making. So I like the group that we had. We had a good rhythm there going to the fourth. And I thought we sustained it early. And I had the 4 timeouts to stop the game a couple times in the first 6 minutes. We didn't have enough at the end. And the shot creation that when we did make it, it felt like every time we had a chance to go back up 12 or get back up 14, we wouldn't make the shot and they'd run out and make a basket or score in transition. So it compounded itself. We had great performance from Nikola. Have to have a few other guys have a game, which we can do in Game 6, have full confidence in our guys.
Well, it's, hold on a second here. Sorry, a little distraction. David Adelman should have known better. I get it. They're saying we can't win with the bench, but you can't win going in this direction either. Our own Vic Lombardi, starter minutes, Nuggets 950, Oklahoma City 813. None of the starters for the Thunder got into the 40-minute range. The Nuggets went for a staggering 7-minute stretch without a field goal. A couple of free throws from Jamal and from Jokic in that stretch. But everybody was exhausted, including Jokic, who was incredible last night. Nikola Jokic with 44 points on 17 of 25 shooting, 5 of 7 for 3, including the circus Sambor shuffle. I mean, he was incredible. But even Jokic couldn't hit a bucket from the field during that time span. Never mind anybody else. Jalen Pickett needs to play. DeAndre Jordan needs some minutes. You can't. You're going to lose anyways doing what you're doing. It's not going to work out. You were outscored 34-19 in the fourth quarter. It's the second game in a row where you had a pretty decent lead going into the fourth quarter. And yeah, it's disappointing in the final 2 minutes. The Nuggets couldn't, get it done. But you should have known better. You're going to lose this way. You may as well try another way. And now I wonder if it's just... I wonder now if it's too late, because if you weren't going to try this in Game 5, a game where you could fool around and find out a little bit. You didn't have much to lose, but with the opportunity that you had, you didn't even try. So after kicking yourself after game 4, You do the exact same thing in game 5 in a game that you could have played around with it a little bit. I am frustrated with Adelman for not at least giving it a shot. I get what you think of the bench. I do. I understand it. But for 7 straight minutes, everybody just stood around and watched Jokic. The Nuggets were 0 for 8 from the floor in a 7-minute stretch. And then, you gave yourself a shot late in the game, but you ran out of gas there too. Nobody could hit a shot. Westbrook couldn't hit a shot. He's hucking up air balls. Michael Porter Jr. just wasn't any good, although I guess he could be. But what was more important is that even defensively, your team was exhausted. Lou Dort hitting back-to-back-to-back threes, wide open, uncontested. You were exhausted again. And it's a cumulative thing because you've been playing day off game. You've been doing that. There is a bright light, a shining hope, a silver lining. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Here is Nikola Jokic on the offense.
Have you generally been happy with sort of the offensive process, even during some of the droughts that you guys have had in this series?
I think yes. I think we are getting open looks, and that's what you only can think about it, just to get open looks. I think the open looks, open man is always win, and didn't do it this time. I think we missed, but I think we had the looks that we wanted to have.
Your line in that box score is a lot prettier than the last few games. I know that's not the priority, but why were you able to get in this kind of a rhythm tonight? What had you feeling so good?
I mean, the ball was going in. I made 5 threes tonight. That helps, of course. And I think the ball was going in, and that was. They were still doing what they're doing, and I think I just had the ball was going in, I will say.
All right. Yeah, listen, Nikola Jokic was incredible. I mean, Nikola Jokic was out of this world incredible. Sorry, I got to get my Journey Spice back here. Come here, Journey Spice. Don't go anywhere. You're there. I'm upset too. Now, are they going to win game 6? Well, probably. They probably are going to win game 6. Jamal Murray.
How confident are you that we'll all be back here this weekend?
Very confident. Always am.
Just in those 2 games, they're obviously an extremely impressive team to have won as many games as they've won. What makes them so tough to put away just for 4 quarters?
I just think we're playing a good game. I just think we let it slip away at the end. And our rotations just weren't on point to end the game, or, we may have scored and they were coming back and we're calling 2 different defenses. You just messed up, and rotations may not be there. So it's a rough one. But I'm very confident in the group that we have, and we've been in a position before. So we'll get back to it.
I believe that is true. Not only do I think they'll win game 6, but game 6 could possibly be a blowout. I mean, you're sort of like 2 bad games for Michael Porter Jr., 1 good game. I mean, he's kind of on track for that. Christian Brown about defending home court.
You're sort of painted into a corner here, but can you get out of it?
Yeah, we'll be all right. Got to go protect home court, and then we'll come back here, and we've won here before, so we got to do it again.
How do you explain that stretch in the 4th where you just couldn't buy a bucket?
It's got to be better. We got to help Nikola out. We got to hit a shot. Thought we got a lot of good shots. We just didn't hit them, and they hit shots when they needed to, and we didn't.
Is there anything to gain? I mean, you had 2 games you could have easily won. What do you learn from that?
I mean, yeah, like you said, we could have easily won, but, they made more plays than us, and that's what matters. They're hitting shots when they need to hit shots, and we didn't tonight. But the good thing is we get to go home, we get to take care of home court, and then come right back.
Listen, this isn't that complicated. You can't win the games when you exhaust your guy. When I saw Nikola Jokic rolling out there to start the 4th quarter, I was like, okay. And I understand that Adelman asked him, hey, do you feel okay? Do you want to go? And all that. It doesn't matter. Of course he says he's okay. But it's not just that. You're not getting your production from Strother, or rather from Westbrook and Michael Porter Jr. Maybe play Julian Strother more. Get a couple of minutes from DeAndre Jordan. Why are you paying these guys to be on your team if you're not even going to try to play them? Now, listen, if it was working, fine. If it was working, fine. Why would any game be any different if you use the same exact strategy? And by the way, you can't be afraid to use these guys earlier in the game too. Julian Strother.
You guys capable of rebounding from this and winning 2 against this team?
Absolutely. We got a locker room with guys that are champions and guys that had that championship DNA and that mindset. So right now, all we focus on is going home, having an opportunity to defend our home turf, and then coming back here on Sunday and playing the Game 7.
For the second straight game, a lead was given away in the fourth. Is that a fatigue issue? What do you think it is?
It just boils down to a couple of game plan discipline errors and, mistakes that we know are correctable and things that are on us. So it just comes down to having accountability, being able to look yourself in the mirror and understand, that plays have to be made down the stretch.
The way you
Is it a fatigue error? Yes. Thank you to, of course, our great friends at Altitude TV and our partners at 9 News and Channel 20 for all of that. And our guy, Vic Lombardi, who I deeply love and appreciate, and hardworking dude who was at the game in Oklahoma City and on the radio and TV this morning as well. Vic is the man. But I think I'm going to have some issues with Vic today because I heard Vic as a precursor say, you're going to hear guys on the radio station like question Adelman. Well, he's talking to me. He's talking to me. To think there's just nothing we could have done is silly. Of course there's something you could have done, something you could have tried. We just don't have anybody. Well, how do you even know? How do you even know? And there were big minutes played by DeAndre Jordan and Jalen Pickett in games that really mattered this year. I'm not talking about playing Dario Saric or Hunter Tyson or even Zeke Naji. I'm not talking about that. Although, every time I see Aaron Gordon at the 5, I get a little sick to my stomach. I mean, is this the way that we're just going to wrap up the season? Just, that's it? I find it hard to believe that that's the way it's going to completely end. Now, this is going to sound nuts because I think they can win the way they're playing. I think Russell Westbrook could have an outstanding Game 6, as could Michael Porter Jr. I think the energy of the crowd is going to be next level, and we have tickets to give away as we give keywords out on the 20s every single hour for the remainder of today. And I'll be on with Scott and Tyler doing the same thing starting at noon today. And the boys in the morning are doing it now. And we have tickets to give away for Game 6. The atmosphere is incredible. And, sometimes you should always just check. I'm not saying there's a lot of tickets. There's definitely not. But you should check. But free tickets your way. Just listen on the 20s for the keywords, and we go from there. All right. I am predicting a Game 6 win. I think Game 7 will end like Game 5 if you can't use your bench whatsoever. If you really don't trust it, if you're going to exhaust your starters. But there is an advantage. There is a quirky little advantage, and that is a 2-day rest. And the game is at 1:30 on Sunday, Game 7. And by the way, the game tomorrow is at 6:30 p.m. It's early, which I love. Are you kidding me? That is fantastic to me. So an early game on Thursday. Nuggets win Game 6. Game 7, I don't know. Likely if they go to a Game 7, it'll come down to the final couple minutes. And can you make a shot or not? But if you go into Game 7 and they've got some sort of lead in the fourth quarter, and I see Nikola Jokic coming out when you have the lead, I'm going to throw up a little bit. We'll get to the Broncos schedule release. The NFL release is coming out today. We'll tell you why they're going to be 1-0 in just a second and give you a Rockies update, a budless Warren Schaefer Rockies update. All hope is not kind of lost, but I am debuting something, the Walk of Shame. Details on that in just a second.
There's a world of flavor out there, and to find it, you have to take the journey. Journey Spice Company handcrafts the most premium spice and seasoning blends that have no sugar, no salt, are certified USDA organic, non-GMO, vegan-friendly, and always planet-friendly. You are going to love serving amazingly delicious creations while knowing you helped reduce single-use plastics. Make sure to search for Journey Spice Company on Amazon today.
You can save yourself 10% using the code 10Nuggets. It's been down here the entire time at Amazon.com, or you can just use their QR code. Bam, right there. Take you right to where you need to go. We love our friends at Journey Spice. Just hit that. And you'll be good. I promise you. It's Journey Spice. All right, let's talk about the Broncos release. We know that they're playing over there in London against the Jets. And Jordan Schultz, who sometimes knows things and sometimes doesn't, says that they'll be playing the Tennessee Titans, typical 2 o'clock start, just regular afternoon start on the opening weekend. And that's 1-0. If you can't beat the worst team in the league with a rookie quarterback in his first NFL start ever, you got problems. The Broncos are going to win that game. They're going to start the season 1-0. That's great news. I love that start for the Broncos. We'll break down the entire schedule when it comes out, and there'll be drips and draps and leaks and blip, 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 blip throughout the course of the day. And then it officially will get released later this afternoon, where Nate and Andy can give you the full schedule, and we'll react to all of it as it comes out. So looking forward to that. DMac SMaK, let's hear what you've got to say. Oh, the Rockies. Let me give you the Rockies real quick. The Rockies lost 4-1 in a pretty well-pitched game. Kyle Freeland, unfortunately, gave up a 3-run homer within 5 pitches. So you're down 3-1, and they scored in the top of the first, but it was 3-1 for basically the entire game until Agnos, the reliever who has the Raleigh fingers sort of mustache, the handlebar mustache, he gave up a home run in the bottom of the 8th. The Rockies just couldn't get anything going offensively. They've only scored 2 runs in this series against Texas. So while the pitching has been solid, the bats have been silent. They squeaked out 5 hits last night. They did score in the top of the first, which was really cool. So, yeah, there you go. So they're 0-2 under Warren Schaefer. Bud Black is sitting there smiling somewhere. I have billed it the Walk of Shame because I am pulling for the Rockies. This is not an anti-Rockies thing. This is a pro-Rockies thing because I know they've got problems, a lot of problems that deserve a complete and total house cleaning. I do understand that. But my point was they needed to start somewhere. And I don't think Bud Black should have been managing this team. Last year, he shouldn't have been managing this team. There are so many games out there that Bud is just blown with poor managing. And I understand Dave Roberts said Casey Stengel couldn't get wins out of this team. I gotcha. I understand. But my big hot take is that because at least of this coaching change, that the Rockies won't end up as the worst team of all time. And to be in the conversation of the worst team of all time, you have to have the worst record. The Chicago White Sox had 41 wins. They, in modern history, secured the worst record of all time at 7 wins right now. At 7-35, the Rockies are definitely on pace to break that record by a mile. And I'm saying they're not. And you can't be the worst team of all time if you don't have the worst record. So my whole take is you will win at least 35 games the rest of the year. If that doesn't happen, I will do the Walk of Shame from the radio station to Coors Field, which has got to be 17, 18 miles, something like that. I'm inspired by watching Paul Pierce recently do this, and why not? So the walk of shame. Now, the goal is to not do the walk of shame. The goal is to not do it. The goal is to say, I don't want to do it. The goal is to say the Rockies will not be the worst team. So this puts me in a fascinating position to sit there every single day to prove that I'm right. And us talk show morons love to prove that we're right. And in a season where there isn't really a whole lot of value to watching the Rockies, for me, I'll be locked in to not do the walk of shame. And they will get, they got to get 42 wins. 41 would not be enough. You may be in the argument for worst team at all time at 41, even though if you're tied with the White Sox, we'll have to look at other metrics to determine that. But certainly if you have 42 and they have 41, they're worse than you. So it's 35 games. So every game is precious for me and the Rockies. So let's avoid the walk of shame. Let's get to some of your comments here. We appreciate it. We love you. And let's see what you got to say. Good to see your own podcast partner up with Altitude. Absolutely. Absolutely, Michael. I am thrilled to do that. Perfect example of why Booth was fired for the last 2 games. I get it. I gotcha. I understand what you're saying, but you still got to try some of the guys off the bench when you know that this other way ain't going on. I mean, they went 7 minutes without a field goal. How about like 3 minutes into that, you're like, all right, timeout. Give Jokic a little bit of a break. Give AG a bit of a break. We're still winning. We're still up. We're going to play DeAndre Jordan and Jalen Pickett just for a couple of minutes here. Well, my guys get a bit of a breather. I got 4 timeouts. I can pile up time and give everybody a little bit of a break. So if it does come down to the final couple minutes, we got a little gas in the tank. Separate from the fact that he and Malone hated each other. Well, I got that. Let's see. All right. We'll wrap this up, and we thank you for watching. How is Pete? Say hi. I will. I'll say hi to Pete. Okay. I'll let you guys go. Appreciate you watching. Thanks to our pals at Journey Spice. And Game 6 is a winner. Game 7, who knows? We'll see you.